Hello everyone, you are welcome back to my channel. If you're a returning subscriber, you're welcome. And if you're coming across my video for the first time, please do well to subscribe. So this recipe is a very sweet and easy homemade recipe, perfect for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So on today's recipe, we have what they call crispy fried plantain. This recipe is originated or is inspired by yamarita and egg sauce. So on today's video, in the place of our yamarita, our yam, we'll be using our plantain. And I'm also sorry for my voice, I'm not feeling too well. That is why in some parts of the record you won't actually be getting me too close. So for my ingredients, I had already prepared them, so I had to unpack them, remove all their lids. Firstly, I have 2 bowls of eggs, which I'll be using one for my fried egg and the other I'll be using it to make my plantain. I have 2 sticks of plantain, a bowl of flour, some sardine. In the place of sardine, you can always use mackerel fish. And I also have some my seasoning and also a combination of thyme, rosemary. I also have some white pepper, seasoning cubes, some salt, fresh sliced tomatoes. You do not need so much tomatoes. And I also have grated onion and grated garlic, some green pepper. If you don't like green pepper, do not use it. Some chopped onions. And for my oil, I will be using my oil. So firstly, peel off your plantain. Cut them into several halves of plantain sticks. Do not make them too light or too thick. If you make them too light, they'll easily dry off when frying and get burned so fast. And if you make them too thick, they won't get ready in the process of frying. So you try to make sure you give it that balance in the way you cut it, in their consistency. After cutting your plantain into its various plantain sticks, you then begin by seasoning your plantain. You go in with some seasonings. You can decide to use any seasoning of your choice, but this combination is my own combination of seasoning. So I added some seasoning and I mixed this properly to make sure everything was well incorporated into my plantain. And if you're someone who does not really like white plantain, you can as well use plantain that has just begin to ripe, or you can as well use unripe plantain, but I don't know about unripe plantain. So the next ingredient I added was my white pepper. I used white pepper to add into the taste and to add into the flavor. Then I went in with my grated onion. I added enough grated onion to add into the taste and to add into the flavor. For some people, they can still add half seasoning cube, but for me, I did not add it because I still wanted that sweetness in my plantain. The third step was to go ahead and season your egg. You go in with your remaining seasoning spice, add in some salt, add in some grated garlic, add in some sardine stock, about 2 to 3 spoons. Then you can also decide to add some pepper. I added some pepper because I already had a pepper mixture which contained garlic, ginger and other spices. So I added a little bit of this to get the pepper taste in my plantain, but the taste was not so obvious. I will give that a stir using your whisk. You whisk it properly. Then you start coating your plantain with your egg first. You then coat it with your flour second, and you coat it back into your egg thirdly. So you repeat this process over and over and over again till all your plantain sticks are well coated with the egg and the flour. So, in order to ensure you have a very good binding agent, you can add cornstarch into this. You can add cornstarch into this. It's just that I never had any cornstarch, so I just decided to use just my flour. But for a better and a very active binding agent, use your cornstarch alongside with your flour. That is, if you have your cornstarch, you mix it in your flour and you use together as your binding agent with the egg. So I added some oil into my pot and I just allowed this to heat. And when it was well heated, I went in with my plantain sticks. I made sure I stirred this in intervals to make sure my plantains do not get burned, and do not over increase your heat to avoid your plantains from burning or from getting too brown when they are not yet ready. Remember, we are aiming to achieve a golden brown color, shiny golden brown color. At this point, my plantains were ready to be taken off the fire. So I placed some kitchen towels into my bowl in order to soak up the oil from my plantain. So this kitchen towel will be soaking up the oil from my plantain and making it dry and crispy for consumption. So this is how your plantain should look like. Do you see this golden brown shiny color? This is so amazing. The next step was to make my egg sauce. In a frying pan, I added some vegetable oil and I allowed this to heat up. I added my bowl of diced onion. Fry this for 60 seconds. Add in your grated garlic and fry also for 60 seconds. Each spices you add, you fry for 60 seconds. You add in your pepper mixture, some sliced pepper, and at some point, my oil was not enough, so I added some oil. Add some seasoning spices, about 2 to 3 spoons of seasoning spices, and some thyme and rosemary combination. You fry, then you add in your sliced tomatoes and also fry. Add some salt to your taste, your sardine fish or your mackerel fish, and you make sure your mackerel fish should be deboned. Then you add in half a seasoning cube. You know, this egg is not so much, so you wouldn't want to go with too much Maggi. Cover your frying pan and allow it to cook for about 2 minutes. After cooking for 2 minutes, go in with your egg. In this egg, I added half cup of Maggi and I mixed very well before frying. So add in your egg, and while frying your egg, do not stir your egg immediately. Allow your egg to set at the bottom of your frying pan as if it wants to get dry. When you see it thickening up or drying up from beneath, you start stirring it gently. And why do you do this? You do this to have that scrambling nature, scrambled egg, to have that scrambled nature of the egg. So do not stir your egg immediately. You stir your egg in portions. As it's tightening on the frying pan, you stir it in portions. Then your last spices or your last ingredient you go in with is your green pepper. At the end of you frying your egg, you add your green pepper, and when that is ready, you switch off your gas and you're ready to go. Okay guys, what do you think about this? See how this looks like. And I mentioned green pepper is optional. Do not use what you do not like. What do you think about this recipe? Would you be trying this simple homemade recipe, perfect for dinner, lunch, and every other thing? If you would love to try this, hit on the subscription button, turn on notification bell for more updates, like my video, and continue to share my links so others can see my amazing recipes. Thank you guys. Bye.